Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to share a little bit of time, fellowship, some joy, some encouragement, some perspectives on life for you, whoever you are, to consider. And, you know, I'm flowing with the energies each day. I did drop the link already. For those who do wish to join the conversations today, please feel free. You're welcome, invited. Those who may wish to, I don't know, share some time and offer, discussions for others to consider regarding finding peace with the truth, finding peace with uncertainty, finding peace even with the chaos. Those are kind of the things that I've been trying to figure out for myself. And you know what? Hey, let's talk about it, right? We all live this life experience, and it's crazy. It's the experience of life as a human. It truly is a fascinating, mystical adventure. It can be viewed through many different lenses, and the human experience can be seen from many different perspectives. Praise God. By design, of course. But what we are is this game of life. By its nature, by its design, we are birthed into form as children, infants. No knowledge of language, no understandings of any of the ways of the world. And then we learn these things through our family, our neighborhood, our society. We learn our language, we learn the definitions, we learn the meanings of everything from everything around us. But it's kind of an interesting adventure when you kind of detach objectively and just look at things from kind of a detached perspective. We're born into this world full of innocence, questioning, wondering, genuinely wanting to know, wanting to understand. And then we're told to obey and to be quiet, listen, don't ask too many questions, and don't trust the wrong person, but do what you're told, do what is right, and know who was wrong. Those are the things that are important, right? So figure it out. By people around us who are just as confused. No one really knows what the hell's going on. Yet so many people are so convinced. Oh, I know. Okay, buddy. All right. You keep thinking. But I suppose there is the other side of that. I mean, we all do know what we know. There's a beauty, a dance to this rhythm, to this life that we live. This is what I was considering regarding the topic too. Finding peace with truth, finding peace with uncertainty, finding peace within the chaos. Because even in the chaos, there is a peace, as long as you can find the pattern, find the rhythm. Learn when to step and when to back up. So there's a rhythm and a dance to life, and it's through that peace, through that flow, that you can really start to understand different things. Your perspectives can change. It all goes together. In order to flow, you've got to allow your perspective to change, And as you flow, you'll experience different things, which will cause your perspective to change. This life we've been given is so amazing. Sincerely, take a moment each day. Take a moment. Let's take a moment right here, right? Just right now, just because we can. Praise God. Praise God. Thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for all that I have known. And thank you, God, for what I do not yet know. Thank you, God, for those things I will not know. Thank you, God, for allowing me to be. Because sincerely, the fact that we get to be, the miracle of life, yeah, it's easy to overlook. It's easy to take for granted because sometimes life takes a lot of work, right? It takes a lot of work to stay alive sometimes. Sometimes it's especially if you want to be comfortable. If you want to be comfortable, man, you got to make all sorts of sacrifices. God is so amazing. In humanity, we have been so confused, man. Praise God. I know there's better ways for us all to live rather than this competitive survival of only the fittest. Only the strongest are going to survive because we're going to decimate everybody else. Golly, jeez. That mimicry, what popped into my mind was Netanyahu. I understand, well, from the news I saw this morning, if I understood it correctly, he refused peace talks. Whether the intention and the request for talks was legitimate or not is unknown, but we are living at a time, brothers and sisters, where there are truly some awful, awful things happening. And I'm wondering if in the future, will we be asked, why didn't you do more? What were you doing? What were you doing as the economy crumbled and the corruption in politics just got more and more and more obvious and glaring? What did you do during that time of history? Well, I sat around on YouTube and I talked. God, it does not sound good enough for me. That does not sound good enough for me because, well, it's by God's grace that I'm allowed to do this. It's by God's grace that I actually find this to be probably one of the more productive usage of my time, to be honest. Because for whatever reason, whether it's just to check into the narrative and the story or the gossip, people are tuning in, they're checking in. And I don't know exactly what others might hear, but I know the stuff I'm trying to share. And everything I'm trying to share is about love. It's about peace. It's about loving the peace. It's about loving the truth. It's about, finding comfort with uncertainty. Because if you can find comfort in uncertainty, guess what you found? You found some faith. It's really not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have faith and to feel comfort in uncertainty. I think that's why God brings us these paths of uncertainty. We all go through our highs and lows of life in different ways, varying degrees. We each have our own blessings and handicaps. We've got our own obstacles and, legs up, so to say. Life is an interesting, beautiful dance of chemistry and energy, and most important, wisdom and beauty. Life is a dance between wisdom and beauty, between art and science, light and sound. Praise God, man. The way God has formed everything into being, and the way we as people, humanity, through language and reasonings, the gift of consciousness, through the power of mind, man, our God is really like pretty amazing. Hey, this is an interesting perspective. Trying to survive in this realm is a form of attachment. It is indeed. It is indeed. And I've wondered this. I've questioned my reasoning. Why do I want to live? For a long time, I thought I didn't want to live. and then I found what I believed was my reason for living. And then that was taken. And then found a different one, and that was taken. And then found a different one. And I kept failing, so I was ready to end it again. I was questioning my survival. But here's what I realized. My story, we've all had our ups and downs. Surviving in this realm, it is a form of attachment. But consider this. Why? Why are you here? What if you are here for a greater purpose than you've realized? It's possible. I mean, we all are kind of ignorant if you really get honest with it. You really don't know what you don't know. And finding out why we are here, right? Why was I born? You ever do that as a kid? Why was I born to this family? This sucks, man. Why did I have to be born? Why did you have to have me? I remember thinking that, saying that. To mom. God, I was a brat. Trying to survive in this realm. What I found myself finding comfort, I found comfort in this idea with myself that there's a purpose greater than me that chose for me to be here. And it's by that will, by the will of that which is beyond me. That is the reason I'm here. It is not my own. I've surrendered. I've surrendered that battle. I no longer fight the fact that I am here. I am. I am here. I am now. So now what? And I know this contradicts some of the things I've said. It feels like I don't exist, honestly. It feels like I am in a dream. And the dream is just this amazing adventure. It's like somehow transitioned from this part where I wanted to escape it to where I can't wait to see what happens next. It's like I'm rooting for this character named Jack now. You know, before I could take him or leave him. As a matter of fact, I wanted to leave Jack behind. I didn't realize that I could. You can leave your old self behind. For those who might interest in this thought, you got a drinking problem, you got a bitterness problem, you got a problem with your behavior. You can leave that old self behind. You can. It might seem scary at first, might seem weird and unusual, out of character even to change. But if you leave the bad habits behind, man, oh, you feel so much better. You do. You do feel so much better. I mean, this is my experience overcoming the drinking and even the porn and all the other stuff, the stuff that's just not good for you. Leaving that stuff behind, Oh man, it feels so much better. And realizing that you can overcome things of the past. Maybe that's part of the reason God allows us so much self sabotage. Maybe that's why we create so much self sabotage, so that we can prove to ourselves our worthiness, that we can prove to ourselves that we can accomplish things. You got to find things to accomplish. And if you don't find them outside of you, maybe God will give them to you. I'm telling you, our God is so amazing. The way the Creator works, the way the Creator is, the way we are, the way nature is, the way life is, time is, light is. Wow. Praise God. I was observing these things in my memories today, and blessings. Thank you to all of you sincerely. Thank you sincerely to all of you who are joining in, have joined in, might just tune in even at a later time. Thank you. This dancing to the rhythms of life, finding your own is key. Your own rhythm, your own dance, your own tune. I realized this some time ago as I started practicing the awareness of me, the awareness of my thoughts, right? Tuning in, trying to be silent. As I started dropping my opinions and breaking away from that mind chatter that I'd gotten so used to, I realized that life really can be as simple as that, man. Pick a joyful theme song. Pick a joyful theme song to carry yourself with, right? And dance your way through the day. And just roll with whatever the day brings for you. And as you're in a good mood, high energy, dancing with your theme for the day, you know, those energies of uplifting spirit, it will guide you into having more adventures in theory. But God is mysterious, and sometimes we will be tested and challenged. Be like, oh, yeah, you really want to be in a good mood today? Let's see how much. How much are you willing to press to stay in your good mood today? Because I'm going to stack some stuff against you. We're going to see if this is really what you want. Sometimes it seems the universe does that with us. Stacks the cards up against us to make it appear like things are real rough, real hard to deal with. And then, at least in my experience, the benefit of hindsight, a little emotional and intellectual growth, I realized that those dark times that I was so frightened of, they weren't nothing compared to what was coming next down the road. Because it seemed like it just kept darker and darker and darker until I realized, Jack, change your story, man. Change your story. As long as you're honest about the facts, you can tell the story of you however you want. As long as it's honest, right? So it's really easy to play these roles in life as a victim. And then, if you're a victim enough, well, that'll give you a righteous excuse to become a perpetrator. Because that's how the rhythms work. The ego feels wounded. Well, it wants to go around and share some pain, some misery, some wounding. Because that's how it learned. And it loves how it is, but it's confused. I don't know if anyone's paying attention, but there's a couple of faces that came into my mind describing those characters. The wounded, the wounded children. I think that's what we've got a lot of today in today's society, brothers and sisters, online, offline, in your workplace, in the grocery store, the people you meet. We got a lot of wounded children on their hero's journey, trying to figure out what they're supposed to do. Some people trying to figure out how they're going to eat, trying to figure out how their children are going to eat, trying to figure out where they're going to find safety, shelter, hope. There's a lot of different stories being told each day, brothers and sisters. Every single day, we are part of some greater picture that's happening. And the world of the ways of the world, Hollywood and entertainment and Wall Street, all this, it wants you and me, the working class, the average class, who's just trying to live life and, stay out of trouble, and yet try to enjoy what life has to offer. There's other people who want us to stay divided, to stay confused, to stay angry and afraid, held back because we don't have the money. I don't have the money to do that. What? God doesn't require us to have money. That's just silly people stuff. Hey, here's a guest who welcome, brother Jesse. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing really good. Just had a really good interview with investigative journalist George Webb. He's been about 16 times. He's well known throughout the world for all of his reporting, even battling and taking CNN to court. It's $100 million lawsuit or whatever against them for defaming him and all this kind of stuff. So fascinating guy, interesting. But I was just listening to what you were saying, and do you have a wounded child inside of you as well?
Yeah, I do. I've realized that. I've still got the child in me. I'm just like everybody else. We all want to be seen. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be appreciated for what we share. Um, some degree, I think we all want to be included. It's just part of how how we're designed. It's amazing. How about you?
Yeah, there was definitely, trauma there. My dad never wanted kids. And when my mom had my sister, he said, "That's it, no more kids." And so when she got pregnant with me, she hid, it from my dad because, he came from communist, Czechoslovakia. Was kind of, it was kind of hard there. And kind of hard grew up. He had three other brothers, so it was definitely, not an easy road. Never wanted kids, and so my mom hid until about 6 months, and then when she was finally obviously showing, big belly, and finally she said to him, "I'm pregnant," and he said, "We're getting rid of it," and he didn't want. That was his first kind of response. And a week before I was born, my dad gave my mom $100 and said, "Go buy something for the kid." And but never, I didn't really have that relationship with him. He never talked to me about things, never was a dad to me like he should have been. Good provider. We went camping, we did a lot of things. We went to Europe, we did, but never that, like bonding time, never that sports, go out and play catch together. We'd go fishing together, but we wouldn't say anything in the boat together. So it was really, you know, hard being around a dad that you want to look up to, but didn't want you, didn't feel like, he wanted you around and stuff. So it, made it for, obviously, there was trauma that way.
Hmm. Is he still around?
No, he passed like 5 years ago, and my whole entire life, he never, wanted anything to do much with me. I was living in like, 5,500 square foot houses on lakes with my own private docks. And that was the first time he ever came to my house. I was like 39 years old, and it was like Thanksgiving. And he came and he was fishing off of my dock and didn't catch anything and never said anything really nice to me. And, never ever said anything nice. But when he was going through his battling his cancer, he had they said he had stage 4 or whatever. And I, finally got to spend a little bit of time with him, which I didn't see him for my entire life. And I was my mom obviously needed my help, taking him to places, and he was getting weak and, kind of larger man. And he finally said the first nice thing that he said to me that I remember my entire life. He's like, "You're a good driver," and it was like nice to be able to, hear something nice, from your, dad, for one time in the life. And I tried to get him on cannabis oil. I tried to give him dried apricot seeds. Tried to do all kinds of things naturally, but he listened to the doctors and did the chemo, and then was dead within 10 months.
Hmm. Yeah, life is interesting. These relationships, though, and yet, I don't know enough to know, but to know your story, Jesse, um, you are a man who's done a lot of healing. I know in my healing, my relationship with my father and my stepfather changed considerably. It comes down to how we tell the story. How we tell the story at the time often limits what we experience. Holy cows, that's a thought I'm going to go deeper on later. Well, consider this. It's our mind, the way our mind works. Our mind is so amazing. It's built to protect us, to preserve us, to keep us safe. And so in these times of trauma, we can literally convince ourselves in things that are unreal. And doing so, it's a protective mechanism to keep ourselves strong, and maybe it's even just an emotional strength, so that we can live in the reality where we feel right. But we can blind ourselves, and this isn't related to you, but just general thinking in things that I've done and I've seen. Praise God sincerely, the God of all things, the God of all time, who is here with us in the now. That God, the one who is always present with us, for us. That God is so amazing. So amazing.
What's your relationships like now with your mom and dad? Like, speak individually, each one. How is that going? Where are you at? Has there been some healing? Has there been some growth as you've been growing these last 5 years? Have you noticed any growth with them, or have they been more of the same, of people that have kind of turned their back on you, that you decided to get out of the spell that you were under?
I appreciate you asking, man. It's been interesting, sincerely. But my stepfather, who I grew up with a lot of resentment for, he died when I was in the service, and I hated him. I was glad he was dead at the time. I mean, just no feelings. But this last few years where I've been on this different kick, man, he he is my absolute hero, one of the most amazing men I think I actually met. But my mother and my father, it's interesting. I spoke to each of them this week, and they both shared with me that they are the last of their family, right? My mom was the youngest of 13, and I guess she's the last one. And then my dad, I don't know how many he had. But the question, unfortunately, in my past, even my mother and father became confused by me. And so they found reasons to stay away. But more recently, we're talking, and I am a much more gentle man than I was, particularly with those who I love.
And remember, they are older.
Yeah.
So, the time, they don't have as much time. You don't have as much time. So, whatever those past, issues were, and maybe they're still present, but we have to have some grace if we want to have any communication, to have them in our life. Sometimes we have to swallow our pride or our ego sometimes and be able to just hear some of the things that we maybe not want to hear, just for the fact to be able to spend some time with them before they do pass on to the next.
I try and talk to them every chance they get. My my mom and I, she's been finding time for me each week. So Sundays we've been talking for at least a little bit. And for anyone tuning in too, sincerely, if you got issues with mom and dad, try to figure it out, right? Figure it out while they're still here. At least try and offer some conversation, some communication, because there's a lot there's a lot of value to be found from knowing where we come from, who we've come from, knowing the relationships that formed us. And I've said it before, we are all here to break these patterns, break the generational patterns that we can. Hey, Chuck, amen. This is what I realized. I grew up as such a resentful kid. I was so angry, so judgmental, because people didn't do good enough for me, which may have been true and it may not have been true, right? It was my attitude. I blamed my stepfather for my anger. I blamed my mother for my poverty. I blamed. And then when I realized my blame kept me away from the love, God, I love this. I love my parents for the sacrifices they made for me, because I know they did their best, just like I did. But again, just like the pattern of my generation, right? I guess my dad ran away when he was a young kid, and then I turned angry, and then my son turned angry. We all made these failures, but I look forward to healing. I'm feeling healed. I'd look forward to sharing the healing. And that's what I think we're all here for. All of us. We are here to bring the healing, to find the healing. There's a lot of modalities being shared around. Jesse's interviewing tons of people, right? All these people on paths of healing and education. There is a lot of wisdom available. Which, speaking of, I didn't mean to jump us all off that. I saw you had the interview and I didn't get to tune in. I haven't tuned in on the last few of them. You have so many of them, Jesse. To be honest, it's hard to stay on top of what you're doing and live a life. So,
It's never necessary to check out the interviews. We do so many. We're fully booked for February, March, April. Half of May is already booked. We do interviews 5, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. Sometimes if you can tune in, great. If you can, it's not a big deal there. Never it's a requirement. You just do them where, kind of get them when you can. But yeah, a lot of fascinating people and a lot of interesting stories, and I really appreciate to be able to spend some time picking people's brains and just finding where they're at. And it's really enlightening for me, as well as for, all the thousands of people that, do end up, seeing our show.
Yes, it is. Some of these, well, some of the journalists, that's who I've actually become real. Some of the journalists have caught my eye. Some of the things, because they've gathered the story, they've been collecting the story, like you, Jesse. You're gathering and collecting all of these stories, so much wisdom from different people, all the characters. Um, so there's, well, I don't. I hope to actually find ways to connect all of these movements and these ideas. I have not found a way yet. I've. I don't know what's the future's going to bring.
The doors will open up at the right time, as long as you keep towards your mission. And, sometimes, it may be discouraging. Some days maybe more, happier, but some days may be a little discouraging. But as long as you know what your mission is and you just keep working towards it, God will open the right doors at the right time, for you. So, don't let, sometimes some frustrating days discourage you. But I wanted to ask you, we were just talking about, the dads and stuff. When's the last time you seen or talked to your son? And what would you say if you got that chance to speak to him again?
Hmm. um, yeah, I saw him. It was, I don't know, 22, 21. It wasn't last summer. It was the summer before, I think. I saw him for just a couple of minutes in the parking lot. He was upset and surprised to see me. Um, what I'd want to know what he's doing. I'd want to meet him again. I sincerely hope for him to meet me again. I mean, it's like it's not just him either. Many from my past, they've just completely forgotten any of the good qualities or any of the good aspects, it seems. But I know eventually something will happen. Um, I don't know. It's my prayer. It is my prayer. I keep getting up. I look out the window with the spirit of optimism, just waiting to see him, his car, him outside, any day. Every time I come home, I imagine seeing him, his vehicle there waiting for me. Um, but I can't spend all my time worrying about things that are not there. And I really can't spend my time worrying about people who don't give a shit about me, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's hard not to. Well, and I shouldn't say it like that. I know he cares.
How old is he now?
He's 21 now.
21. So just kind of coming into his manhood. And I imagine there's lots of confusing stuff for him, thoughts about everything that's going on. He can't be firm with just, separating like that from you. But would it be amazing if he was actually knew about your show and watched your show and didn't say anything, but just kind of kept up to see what his dad was up to, and the progress that you've been making in your own journey?
Yeah, I've prayed for that. Um, but this is what I realized. I don't know. Yes, I have prayed for that, and I've prayed that, someone around him might actually ask him, "Hey, what is the story with your dad? Why don't you talk to him?" Or maybe even they look me up, because I'm not ashamed of what I've been doing online. I'm not proud of how people have been treating me, but I'm not ashamed of what I've been sharing online. And I don't know, Jesse. I have hopes and prayers. I know he would be happier. Actually, I know for a fact he would be more equipped for life if he returned back and had a conversation with his father. He would be far more better equipped for life than the way I raised him. I made mistakes. I didn't raise our son with God, with church, which meant he didn't see a great example of forgiveness, you know, especially not from his mother. She's vicious. So I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I do know that this Saturday is another union meeting. I am still trying to dance that dance of having communication with people who think I should not exist. But I'm confident something's going to change here in Spokane before long. And when it does, man, when it does, Jesse, I'm going to be able to sit here. I know when my son and I talk, we'll get past the confusion very quickly. We'll have our hugs, our tears, and it will be shortly after, I'm sure, he'd allow us to come on here and meet the rest of the viewers. And I look forward to that. Having him share what he's been learning and growing into. See, there's a good-hearted Christian there, supposedly. I assume you're talking about my son? Jack, leave it alone.
Do you miss him, Jack?
I'd hope that's pretty obvious.
Like, you want to give him a big hug and, like, do you just want to just chat with him like that? Those are some of the stuff that I guess that you miss the most.
Yeah. Jesse, I've explained my situation, and I'm not playing a victim, just experientially. I've always been a hugger. Actually, for the most of my adult life, I've been a hugger, right? Real touchy-feely. I'm a very affectionate man. Yeah, I haven't felt a caring hug, or haven't felt a hug from someone who truly cared about me. It's been a long time. That's what I mean. I encourage people. Don't take this shit for granted. When you've got people in your lives, appreciate them. People can be gone just like that. And you never know. You never know when people will change, when things will change, when the opportunities disappear. We never know. These dreams of my son, dude, without this being taken wrong, he was literally my best friend on earth. My son was, when he was 15, up until 15. And yeah. Hey, Rob G, thank you, man. I know that I had to learn lessons apart from him, and I know he's learning lessons apart from me. And I'm excited for the future. But Jesse, here's my dream, okay? I know I keep saying I have hopes and dreams that God is doing this, right? God is doing the live without fear. That means God is using me. I've devoted myself. I hope to be an instrument, a messenger for the truth of God's love, to try and be an advocate for peace in this lifetime, to bring peace to the world, to hope. And I thought, what an amazing story this could be. My search as a father trying to reunite with my son so that both of our lives might improve. And I know as our lives improve, well, my goal is to help improve the community and the world we live in. So it just seems logical that God would want me and my son back together at some point. Because the other part is, this could be part of a greater narrative. Potentially, my hope is to follow the walk, right? To be a disciple of Yeshua, of Jesus, to carry the truth of God's love with the world. And couldn't that be an amazing chapter? Father and son get separated so that the father can greater know in the love of God, the humility towards Christ, so that when the son and father join together again, we can come together and bring God's children back to the Father, God, love. And I really think it's possible that we are to become those who feel the call, feel pulled, feel that we become the united as the body of Christ. The body of Christ together, we can bring forth the light of truth, shining the light into the darkness, overcoming the corruption of our governments, of our corporations. We become collectively together we gain, right? Jesus, as the story goes, Jesus was the one as God. We can become one with Jesus and God, but together, where two or three or more are gathered, that's where God is. So just take it as humility, right? It takes a few of us to make up the mind and the power of Jesus. But if we come together with that purpose, to unite, to bring peace to the world, I think God would allow us to do it that way.
Every day's a new day.
It is. Every day is a new opportunity for it to come forth, for the light to flow. There is some great community, some great people that are gathering. Each moment of awareness is a beautiful thing. If you forget, focus on that thing called the breath. That's what I've been learning. And I have so much hope and faith in the future. I do. But it's really maybe a survival mechanism, because otherwise I've got a lot of desperation and fear about the future, right? So faith and hope are the way. And if I'm right, Jesse, if I'm right about me, then God is using us, because I am you, you are me, all the viewers, we are all one. God is using us to bring forth a better world, starting today. There's a natural progression that I can see in nature, where nature builds upon the past past growth, the past disease, the past decay. It grows. It grows upon the past, and it grows into good, into better. It adapts. We overcome. That's what we're made of. Humans, people. We are truly, we've been misunderstanding our roles in life, our purpose, our opportunities. I did that for most of my life. I misunderstood my purpose. I misunderstood the purpose of others. I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. Hey, I'm watching the chat here. Jack's little monkey. Oh, okay. Up in Tarek. Yeah, I didn't see Tarek crossing any lines, but blessings to you guys in the chat. I truly appreciate you. These, what was I thinking about it, if I may? Oh, some of these questions I shared. I know your answers on some of these, Jesse, for sure. But for people to consider, in this age of information and technology, I think most of our viewers, I think you can resonate. You seek the truth, you love the truth. But in the search for the truth, do you love the truth enough to be wrong? I mean, are you willing to find out you were wrong about some of the things you believed in your search for the truth? Or do you only search for the things that confirm what you think? And then I see it a lot on some of these groups, some of the cliquish stuff. Do we fear, punish, divide from those who speak with different perspectives?
Well, let's put it this way, Jack. I've been making or helping people become awake and aware to the stuff that's going on for 30 plus years. And I wish for a lot of those things that I was wrong. I wish people could prove to me that I was wrong. I wish that that was just delusional thinking about some of these horrific things. So, yeah, the truth is of utmost importance. And for anyone to be able to prove that these things aren't happening, then, that would put my head and heart at ease because, I
Yeah.
see how nefarious this world has become, and I see the underbelly of the beast, and I just wish that it wasn't like that. I wish that that was a delusion. I wish that the people that were still in the programming mode that I talk to that can't see the things that I talk about were actually right, and that the world isn't as bad of a place as potentially it is. So yeah, that's, I would love to be proved wrong.
It's both. It is. It is that evil and bad, but it is also this good and divine. I was blessed in my journey to discover people like you and others. And I've been absorbing as much as I could. The exception to what I'm saying, though, is I didn't go into the real darkness. And I know there's people who have really been looking into the footage of this evil atrocity between child trafficking, human sex trafficking, slave labor. There's even human sacrifice, and all sorts of evil is afoot. It's an eternal part of this physical realm that we've been part of. But evil doesn't have the power that I once thought it had. I am absolutely convinced in the supremacy of the good, in the divine, in the holy. And I pray often for guidance, for connection, and I pray to the holy beings in whatever forms they may be. I trust God has, for those of us who are seeking to know the light and seeking to be one with the truth and love, I'm confident God's got protection for us. But it's good to be wise, right?
It's good to know what's going on. It's just not good to help manifest that darkness into existence by continually, putting energy towards that darkness. And when we interviewed Donut, I know Z was doing a little bit of Donut yesterday. I actually phoned him. I was going to actually try to get him to show up on the show with you guys yesterday, right? He didn't answer his phone or whatever, right? But that's what I tried last night to make that happen. But when
Yeah.
I interviewed him, he was talking about how some of this energy, magic comes into existence. So, the saying F Joe Biden.
Hmm.
So when people are saying that, they're actually creating almost like sex magic with that word because they're so passionate about that word and they're putting it, they're actually creating that bond and union with that darkness and putting energy. And when he said that, it was quite profound, right? So, as much as people want to make people awake to be awake and aware to what's going on, you have to really be careful on how much of manifesting of that darkness you're actually putting into consciousness and helping the darkness come to fruition by enough people manifesting it.
That's the key. Being aware of it, but not letting it consume you.
i,
So
I love you, Angeline.
yes, being selective with, look for the answers, the hope. And I love that. And what people are creating out of the contrast. Because that is interesting. This idea of mass formation, the idea of the Wedico, the energies of, well, the energies of the angry mobs, those things are crazy. And it's real easy for people to get caught up into this, get reactive into the emotions in a catchy phrase like that. And then, well, this is how easily people can be confused and manipulated. What I encourage to combat this idea of getting consumed by the dark, intentionally find a way, please. Intentionally seek out inspiring conversations, inspiring poetry, inspiring words, beauty, art. Find inspiration, seek and grow that inspiration within yourself, and then find what you enjoy creating and sharing. Because that's what life is about: learning, growing, sharing. I think it's that simple. Moment by moment by moment. That reminds me, finding peace with the truth. Truth is a powerful and a mysterious concept. The idea in itself, I mean, the power behind what is being said, the truth, the power behind that expression, it is mysterious. Truth is the foundation of wisdom, I think. um, but finding peace with the truth. Where is the truth found? This moment. This moment is a new revealing of truth being rearranged. The world is being rearranged and representing itself in each moment. And so that presentation of the truth, of that which is real, that is our new truth. But then we also have within us the past truth and the realization of what we know. It's really fascinating. In my mind, knowledge is God, I think. That's what I treat it as. Because, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you what your thoughts on Putin and Tucker Carlson. They're having some big interview going on right now. Tucker Carlson is interviewing Putin. Some people have said that Tucker Carlson's now being listed as an enemy to America. He's on a no-fly list and all this kind of stuff because he's interviewing Putin. And Putin has come out, no genetic GMO foods, wants organic farming. He's talked about how the West and their satanic pedophiles apparently kicked out Rothschild. So, who knows? It's all, political theater, but I was just wondering what your thoughts on, him were, or this whole scenario, and what you thought of Tucker Carlson and some of the reporting that he's been doing.
Dude, it's interesting. Thank you. I didn't realize that was happening. I kind of shared this opinion. I always considered Tucker to be a puppet. However, I even considered his breaking away from the establishment was still part of a game, and that he may be being used as a pawn. But listening to him, I think there's some authenticity in him too. You know, he's got his confusion just like others, but I think he's genuinely trying to find out, and he's speaking out about he's asking some questions about the government and stuff that people should be asking. The idea of him and Putin talking, very interesting. I would I'd like to speak to many of these people, right? Putin included. I don't believe he is. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I know that he is very brilliant, very smart at what he does. He knows military, he knows strategy. What are your thoughts, man? Tucker and that.
Well, I just, asked George Webb, who he just interviewed, about, that and what he thought. And he was saying that, it's fascinating that they came out and released the interview now because apparently some big stuff is going on with Trump and some court stuff. And it's like they wanted to distract and deflect from what was happening with Trump and putting it, but he kind of is on like the Patriot side, or so he says. So apparently Tucker has maybe like his family comes from, maybe some CIA background or whatever. So it's interesting to, have these people that do ask the good questions, that do say the things that we are all wanting people to say, but then potentially them not being on the right side of things. But one thing that I said to him, it doesn't really matter which person and what position or what family they've been, put into. We just want them to repent and do better, right? To come and, we want people to come back to the light, come back to the side of God, and, to stop any of the chaos and destruction that's causing so much, poisoning on this earth, mind, body, and soul. And that, people that are in these positions of power, what better place or person to come back to the side of the light of someone that does have, so much pull and weight, because that would cause, ripples that, the darkness couldn't handle.
Yes. I hope, Jesse, it's in my heart. It's in my heart, and I hope and pray that there are people in these positions of power that are confused, right? They're convicted, and they're convinced in the ways they were taught, which is the money system and the authority system and all this. I have hope and faith that there are good people within the system that are willing to take some chances, willing to try and stand on what's right. If presented new ideas, people have got to be willing to listen. I don't know. There's a lot of people who doubt what I believe is possible is, right? A lot of people don't believe that minds can change, that people can be convinced of other things, but holy cows. We got another guest here, Jesse. Another friend of the show, I believe, hopefully.
Technically a holy bull, not a cow, Jack. I'm a Taurus.
Welcome, Paul. How you doing, brother?
I just wanted to comment on the absurdity of the fact that we've now come to the point where our best hopes lie in the hands of Tucker Carlson and Putin, the leader of Russia. That seems promising.
Hey, it's better than Biden, isn't it? Having hope in that.
There's a stray cat walking across the street right now into an alleyway. If we're going to do the better game, I mean, we can elect him.
You're right. Bring in the candidates. The stray cat is better too. But, someone's got to do something. And I wonder, what's the worst that could happen from Carlson and Putin talking? It's worst case, it's more propaganda. Best case, it's a different perspective on things being shared. I don't know. But hey, Paul, no one's saying that those guys are the best hope. I think we're the best hope.
Well, like he was saying, the lesser of two evils is still evil, right? But if that, evil wants to, repent, do better, be better, and come back to the side of the people, then, that's ultimately what we want, is everyone to do better while we're here.
Especially those who have risen to power and influence. I mean, the more I look at society as though, sincerely, every one of us can do this. Practice this. Just step back as though you're not committed to the money system or the political system or any of it. And just kind of detach yourself as though you're an alien. You're an extraterrestrial looking at the human life, and ask yourself, what is going on? What? The money system itself is a Ponzi scheme. It's a scam. You there, Paul?
Yeah, I had a restart.
All right. Welcome. Are you still doing yours? Or are you wrapped up?
No, I just ended. I figured I'd pop in on you briefly before I carry on with the rest of my night.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. I considered trying to pop in, but sometimes I don't want to rock your flow, and I wasn't really in a position to commit to spending time too. So anyway, glad to see you, my friend.
Jack, now that you have good company here, I do got to go. I got some bunch of stuff I got to take care of. I got another interview on in less than 3 hours. So you gentlemen have a good conversation, and we'll see you all later.
Respect. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate you joining, and we'll catch up later. So then there were two. And actually, I'm not sure how long I'm going to really keep rolling too long. But I know you can appreciate the thumbnail, Paul, that old quote, further a society drifts from the truth, the more it hates those that speak it. I know that's certainly where we're at, and there's prophecies and descriptions that this is the way the world would come. People have grown to this point where they despise what is good, and they protect and fight for what is bad. And that's why we've got these people like fucking Biden and Trump, This is nonsense. This is right. Paul, we're on the same page on this for sure.
Oh, that's one thing that's not going to change. We're like, we're about 95% on the, well, maybe
We're
not so
very
much,
close.
because I always forget about that Talcottianism component where you just want everyone to kind of hang out and pray to like the Talcottian Godhead and shit will just manifest. And I say that's the ruination of civilized society.
Well, but that's not quite true. But what if people were just like hanging out and praying for the inspiration, right? And so they're praying around. They really don't have a lot of worries because their basic needs are met. They can explore and learn whatever they want. So
what is the mechanism to get everyone's basic needs to be met? I thought that was accountability and self-responsibility.
well, those are part of it. The accountability and self-responsibility, right? Those things, as we grow and develop, we're able to contribute greater means. We can offer forth more through our mindful, cooperative production and sharing. Sharing is a way that everyone's needs are going to be met real easy.
So Tarek's really gone completely the other way, and now he's not, in quotes, culting hardcore for me. He's culting for Jack. What a turn of events, Jack.
I hope that's not the case. I don't believe it is.
He's now down in your chat making presumptions about who I am and what I'm here to do after he went everywhere defending me implicitly when I didn't ask him to. It's amazing.
I've noticed that. You've got people that truly align with you, and maybe there's some with me too, as I'm saying this. They align, and it's like not quite aligned.
Yeah, they're aligned with the representation of what you represent for them and their beliefs. Till you don't. Then you're in misalignment with them and something wrong happened, right?
Yeah. But on the other side of that, though, even though there's confusion, I see in the heart that the alignment, the intention is there. And Tarek has been he's been a true supporter of yours against a lot of opposition. So I don't know. We're all learning and growing together.
Yeah, he doesn't understand what I've told over and over again. I'm not necessarily looking for supporters of me. I'm looking for fellow experiencers of the truth.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Like, I'm thankful and grateful for folks who support me, but if I go looking for that, I'll have to take it any way it comes from anybody it comes from, and you know where that'll get you.
Right. It gets that codependency.
Yeah. And I think one of us is in that right now, and I don't think it's me.
Well, yes, I agree. And I'm not trying to encourage the codependency, but I haven't paid close attention to what Tarek has been saying, but sometimes, I mean, actually, I'll give him credit. Many of his criticisms I find I usually agree. Am I back?
Is that you? That's on your end? I thought that was on my end.
No, I'm pretty sure it's me. My signal thing here. Praise God, man. I love the technology when it works, and when it doesn't, man, it doesn't. Oh,
why are they? Wait, that was a fake. There's multiple fake Tareks now at this point. This is what we've come to.
no.
I actually thought that was him because it had the usual typos and language errors.
Oh my goodness.
This is what our life's become, Mr. Talcott. This is where it's at. I saw that change you went through on that other broadcast the other day. You went through a change instantly. You just looked around and went, where am I? What am I doing here? I'll see you guys later. Oh, that was great.
It's yeah, it was like I hit a wall, and the wall just said, "Jack, what the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "I can't answer that question."
You realize that's the wall I've been attempting to metaphorically slam your head against for the last year and a half, right?
Well, here, explore the wall though. What was happening that caused me to do that? I'm sitting here once again sharing time with people that are ignoring me. They're talking about themselves or about other things. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Why? Because that's what I felt like was happening the other day. And Paul, you've got to feel that way too sometimes. I've seen you. You overcome it as though as though it's not a deal, but I've seen how people they're having a different conversation than you. And
I
it's
guess
like,
I've gotten really good at, through self-chosen suffering mostly, I've become real comfortable at getting philosophical when necessary and seeing the humor that is life, right? It's a good coping mechanism that gets me through the day and various broadcasts.
it is. It is. Oh, but you know what, Paul? What just came to mind there is the coping. You're right. It is a coping. You're very gifted and skilled at what you do. However, I know that you could with some, I don't know the right touches to offer, but
Like, let me offer some criticism without solutions. All right, let's form a line then. Why should you be the only one to get that opportunity?
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I don't want to do that. I don't want to speak negative. I want to be encouraging and promoting, right? Because I know that you can. You've got such a gift, but there are some stumbling blocks that if you overcame those, man, I think you could work a lot less. See, this can come out wrong too. A lot less effort could bring forth a lot greater reward. I think that is the goal for all of us to try and find. Less effort, more reward, but with purpose, not promoting laziness. Does that make sense? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on that are, if you're talking efficiency, I'd be open to the conversation. But one thing I believe, I guess I've learned about myself, is I am not somebody who benefits from a program of less effort, more reward. I've had that in my life at one point, and it was a detriment to me. So I had to learn the opposite, that in order to get the reward, you have to put in more effort. You have to do and be more than you were yesterday or last year, in a sense, some sense, to get more, right? If not, then it becomes selfishness, self-gratifying, entitlement, all the rest of it. Unthankful and grateful.
Well, I agree with you, and I think we all need to learn these lessons, and I had to learn. I learned to work early. That was never really too much of an issue for me. I had to learn. I had to learn the ability of when to work, right? Choosing when the efforts were helpful, valued, when it's necessary, and then when my energy is better conserved elsewhere. And it's a fine line. It's a dance. Sometimes I screw up, but
Jack, there's a pastor down there that wants to have a word with you. He says, "Greetings, Jack. Please kindly return all the Bibles you've been taking from the church. We know you're selling them to pay your bills."
yes,
And I don't think that was supposed to come out here on this broadcast. So if the mods could really just kind of stay on it down there, do their job. Thanks.
Well, actually, I know that's not him. And so, yes.
What do you mean? It says right there, Pastor Brian Hempel. That's your guy.
No, it's not. Although
Okay.
these are things that Pastor Bryant might say to me. People
Don't
People
time
do
me out, you
react.
pussies. That's his last message. Is
Right.
that him? Does that sound like him? Pastor Brian Hemphill?
He's he's from the streets of Hilliard, man. Hilliard's a neighborhood around. You don't mess around.
Listen, okay, don't listen to fucking Mr. Hemphill there, because
Yeah.
if they can have a Bible at every Motel 6, Jack can steal him and sell him to pay his rent. We know God doesn't exist at Motel 6. It's a complete
Well,
waste.
I don't know. I've heard him calling out for God in Motel 6.
People actually buy Bibles?
God. Yeah. No. Paul, this is it. There's imposter Tarek's, imposter Pastor Bryant's. I still have imposter Jack Talcott banned from my chat, although I see him popping up on others.
It's important to choose love. Peace is available.
Right? Hey, actually, where was that? I had that conversation recently. Maybe if it wasn't with Jesse, it might have been with my dad. But the conversation, the answer is always love. We don't always know the question to ask, but the answer is going to be love. In the end, love brings the solution. Love brings the answers. Love brings the peace.
Yeah, when I was in county jail one time, I had a guy who I asked him, "What brings you here?" And he said, "The answer is always love." I stayed away from him.
Good choice. Good choice. People's interpretations of love, that's where the confusion comes in.
Yeah, he went on to say that rape is just a term that the police came up to interfere with his process of expressing love. I stayed away from even more after that.
Yes, good. Oh my goodness. But you know that this is the way of this world. There are people that are sincerely, wow. The way people have lived, some of the lives that people have lived, prisons, in refugee camps, in the true poverty in North America. What I haven't yet experienced, and I haven't spent a lot of time with those who have this great wealth and abundance. I know it's available. I haven't quite experienced it yet, but Paul, I think this is why you and I maybe have lived the life that we have. Preparation for that, so that when the wealth arrives, we'll know to use it for the proper purpose.
Well, that's inspiring news, Jack. I was under the impression that my life was being prepared so I can live like the guy behind the Walmart down the corner from me.
I refuse to accept that about myself, so I refuse to accept that for you too. I see, Paul, sincerely, I see a future of prosperity, abundance, and influence. Why? Because of the words that we're offering. We are talking about individual freedom, individual prosperity. We are talking about lawful and loving living. That's why we're going to succeed. That's the way. I think. But I don't know where this is going to go. I was telling Jesse earlier, I got union meeting on Saturday. I'm going to try again to have conversations with people who could help me talk to the people involved with my former career.
So what's the objective?
To find out what is real and what is true. Because allegedly I'm dangerous and crazy and a threat to others. However, I don't really have the support that goes along with that, that would allow me to be retired, disabled, so to say.
All right,
So,
Jack, I'm going to support you on this one. We got to get the truth out of these people. We know they're telling lies. Go in there, get some C4 strapped to your body, to your core, and you go right on in there and you get them to tell the truth, right? And then at the end, you reveal that maybe it's not real C4. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Whatever. We don't want you catching charges. Okay? And they're going to prove once and for all you are not crazy, you are not dangerous, and you're not a threat to these people, and that they lied.
That's no help, Paul.
Sorry, Jesse.
you think the C4 would help? Hey, welcome, Machine Lives. Well, part of that story, though, Paul, I showed up with cupcakes, and I was accused of potentially bringing a bomb to the facility. So that's already kind of part of my story, man.
Now, you couldn't just like remix that like they did in the 90s? Like, yeah, I am the bomb. I just brought a whole bunch of sweet, tasty treats up in this mug. Like, just start using 90s slang. And you know what I mean? You got to learn how to roll with the punches. Like, hey, they must be complimenting me. They said I was the bomb, or I brought a bomb in. I don't know. You want a cupcake?
I was pissed. I was pissed off.
Jack, if they do deem you as like crazy or whatever that you're saying, is there a possibility that they won't even let you in?
Yeah, that's why I'm hopeful to have a witness with me. And
what time do you want me to be there?
About 11.
I got plans. Sorry, I was right there with you, but I got other stuff I got to do.
I know.
I don't want to go to jail again, Talcott. All right, not for this.
I don't think anyone will go to jail, honestly. If they just, dude, this is so, it's so frustrating.
Are you seeing this from their perspective? Someone who they've deemed crazy and insane is now showing up years later to a union meeting to argue about being crazy and insane.
I know.
Is it possible they deem you more crazy and insane than they did the first time? In which case, then what do? You're almost worse off.
Well, I know the appearance, but this is what they need to realize. The only reason I'm still pursuing is because they've never allowed me a fucking conversation. This is insane. I don't know. So I have hopes of things changing very soon, but even if it does, I don't even know what that's going to lead to. I just know what I hope it can. And what it can lead to is, like I said, here, what I'll do is somehow these guys can eventually help me speak to the people in the American government. Maybe Joe Biden will let me and Putin go have a conversation.
Wait a second. So now this is the next level. You and Putin, full-on conversation.
Well, why not?
I mean, about what exactly? Like, what's the main topic? Jack, come on. You're not being real with yourself now. I'm not trying to discourage you. What's the main topic of the conversation between you and Putin exactly?
Peace.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
of all the people you can talk to about peace, you're going to pick Putin.
Well, he probably knows connections and people who might help me get inside the American government, right? And
you realize that's basically the main guy when it comes to the Kremlin and gulags, and you're going to talk to him about peace.
Well,
and he's been surrounded by the American military that keep encroaching and encroaching upon him. Yes. And so for him to, maybe he does want peace, but it seems like maybe the other side doesn't want it.
Right.
Hey, Vladimir, you're imagining disagreements.
What if he does want peace? He didn't want to have to defend his borders and establish some boundaries on the encroachment by the American capitalists and the corporate greed. You know, I've heard the, the U.S. military and the agents involved, holy crap, they are not helping our world have peace. They are justifying their jobs, the War Department, the Defense Department. The reason they've got such swollen budgets is because they've convinced everyone around the world to be enemies of ours. It's craziness.
I think you go straight to the top. This is why Talcott clip collection's a genius. Forget about Putin. I say that you sit down with like Lucifer, the devil himself, and you talk about peace. Like that one Talcott clip collection where you interviewed the devil.
You know what? I think he'd help. I think because what if the devil is like Lucifer is just serving God's will, helping to refine the human character, leading us through temptations and trials to see what type of character we are. And so if man overcomes collectively, if we stop allowing ourselves to fall to the darkness and the evil desires, well, then the role of the devil will have been served. And, you know, it's like an older brother. He's been playing tricks on mankind, maybe. So,
what would you do if you were talking to Putin? Because I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're exciting me now with this imagery. If you're talking to Putin and you tell him like you do on here, hey, bro, you're imagining disagreements, get out of your imagination. And then he just has you taken off, like disappeared. You'd be okay with getting tortured and kept in a gulag just to try to talk to him about peace? That's pretty ballsy, Jack. I got to give it to you. You know, it's pretty courageous.
There's other people who have already done that. So, yeah. I mean, I don't expect that's my future, honestly. Paul, I'm telling you, I think God is with us. And I'm not trying to test God, but I think I'm blessed. I've been saying I'm blessed and I feel blessed. So why not? Why not push it and see how far I can go? If the opportunity can emerge, if I'm persistent and insistent enough each day, eventually the universe is going to align itself and success will be inevitable. That's what I predict. And success is somehow find a way to speak to these public servants, these people who call themselves leaders, and help them figure out a better way of leading.
I'm a firm believer you're never given a dream without the ability to make it come true.
I'm becoming a believer of that too. And I never used to believe in destiny. I still don't. I still don't know. But this idea of sharing peace with the world, live without fear, started as an idea, and then I convinced myself to believe that it could happen. Then I convinced myself to believe it had to happen. In other words, I had to get this done. And now I wonder if God's got it all under control. Because I haven't given up. I haven't lost faith, but I no longer feel the urgency or the the requirement to push.
What do you say to folks like Chuck down there in chat who just said, quote, crazy as a loon, unquote?
You know, I love Chuck.
I'm personally sick of his fucking disrespect.
He's been a great teacher for me, allowing me to grow in my ability to overlook disrespect and confusion and ignorance even. Yeah. You're totally baiting me.
All right, you caught me. And I even did the whole I'm sick of his fucking disrespect, like you say. Like, all right, you got me.
You
do a little mischief.
Crack me up. And hey, Jason, welcome.
What's good, brother?
I didn't see you join up.
It's been a minute. Let's see you all.
Man, I didn't know Pootie Pie came on panels. What's going on, bud? You gonna open toys or something? Play Fortnite or what?
I don't know.
Y'all so goddamn pretty.
Jason's got an interesting setup behind him, though. Pretty wall, and
He looks like he lives in a underground pool that's not filled with water.
No, it's a fucking Walmart washroom, you fuckwit. Pay attention.
Is that the Masonic
Man, you got a hell of
checkerboard?
a setup. How do they let you stay there full time? How do you get that done? I got to get Brian O'Shea on whatever you're doing. I thought he was maybe part of the Red Shoe Club. You know, they get in them underground pools that don't have water in them and do all types of unspeakable things with children. He looks like the type. He's got a weird look in his eye, Jack. Is this guy okay?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's on Al Cool too, I think. He's on them demonic spirits. You got to watch these people.
These live streams, they attract the most interesting characters. And they just keep showing it. Welcome, Tarek.
Hi,
And
Jack.
Hank,
Yes.
blessings to you.
Jack, I got a question. I don't know why your mods blocked me for some reason.
Because you're annoying, the same reason I blocked. I mean, this isn't going to
asking you,
change.
Paul. I was asking Jack. You're not the
Oh,
host.
okay. I thought you wanted the truth, not personal appeal. Sorry.
I'm
Go ahead,
asking
Jack.
So I wasn't speaking to you, sir. I was speaking to Jack. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you, Tarek. I'm not sure why exactly you were blocked.
Yeah, I am sure. Does anyone? Okay, you know what? Forget it.
It
No,
appears you
I
were
mean-
told.
I said some things about Paul, and they blocked me. So the mod must be like Paul's monkey or something. I'm not sure.
Well,
No, it's
hey,
just that you're
well-
really annoying. That's the thing. I just
No,
said
I'm
it.
not annoying.
Actually,
I'm not
yes,
annoying.
you
No,
are.
you're really annoying. You're even annoying on panel. More annoying than in chat somehow.
All right,
Sorry.
I'll let Jack speak. I'm not here to take over, God.
Thank you.
Let,
Well,
let me put
what
this,
if-
let me put this in perspective. I'm being really annoying. I'm actually watching this stream from a different stream like Paul usually does, and I'm not as annoying as Tarek.
Okay, that's your perspective. You're entitled to it. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to block you.
Well, what I was going to offer, Tarek, I didn't see the
Nice to meet
response.
you, Jack.
However, it could very well be that the viewers understand that I don't want to create a fight with Paul. And maybe I don't want people in the chat starting fights with him or me. Could be
And I
that.
respect that. And I respect that.
Something else the mods are probably not a fan of is people being annoying
Yeah.
and acting like
people-
bitches. Something,
I know,
two
and
things you do regularly. I got to
I
tell
know,
you.
and people lying and not telling the truth.
You mean like you see, this is where we get started right here. Here's the flashpoint.
Yeah,
You mean
I'll
like
get
you
started,
saying
man.
yesterday you gave me thousands in contributions and we did it today on the live broadcast? It's not even 1,000?
Is that a lie?
Yes, you lied. What else would you
Okay,
call
so-
it? Saying something that's
Well-
completely untrue.
Okay, so I'll pull up all the PayPal and I'll give you. I'll give the whole media so I can show you what a liar you are.
Go ahead, absolutely.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
how about
I'm not
this?
gonna
Okay,
start
but you
fighting.
won't
I
do it.
respect
You're going to
that.
say okay, but you're not going to do it.
How
I
about
have
this?
it all, believe me.
I did it all already today, so you don't need to redo what I did today because I went
Okay.
through it on air.
Hey,
Okay,
You
that's
lied.
fine. Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
And I don't owe you anything, and I don't have to love
I didn't
you
say
because you
owed
gave me
anything,
shit.
Paul. I didn't say you owed me anything. I said I got value and I contributed that. It's not about the money. But don't lie.
Okay,
Jack,
I
thank you.
asked you to stop going everywhere and being obsessed and fixated, and then we're going to get back to Jack. And you still can't get it
No,
done
let's
because
give
you're
it back
doing
to
it
Jack.
now.
Let's
You're
give it back
doing
to
now
Jack.
what I
Let's
asked you
give
to
it back
stop
to
doing,
Jack.
wondering why the mods don't like you, and I don't like you, and no one likes you. It's amazing. Would you just
You
listen
don't have to
and
like me
comprehend
because
what's being said?
I'm gonna expose you.
Oh, another exposer. How can you expose people who are not hiding? There's no expose.
worry, I'll
You're
expose you.
exposing your ignorance, arrogance, and retardation. That's what's on expose constantly.
Can we let Jack talk, Paul? Since you have a problem.
Let's get
with
back to
listening
Jack,
or coming down?
fuckface.
Hey,
Go ahead,
There we
Jack.
go. See how he's triggered already.
sorry. Thank you guys. And please, I want to return back to what is important, regardless of the
Yeah.
amount. There has been, I believe, what Tarek is pointing out is there's been an exchange of value. He's received value, and
Yeah.
Tarek has been very clear with others that he's received a lot of value from you, Paul.
I did from
No.
Paul. I did. I respect that. I never ever mentioned it
Right.
like
It's
that.
the same pattern with everyone. You receive tons of value of me speaking about everyone else until I spoke about you. And then something happened.
Ohio.
Okay, until you spoke lies about me, that's when I have to check you. But go
Yeah,
ahead,
everyone
Jack,
who
sorry.
says I speak about them says I'm lying. Is it possible they're just not considering the truth in what I've said to some degree?
Sometimes,
I
though,
know, Paul, you're never wrong.
sometimes
You're never
your
wrong.
words are not accurate.
When have you been right?
I'm never right. You're always right. Okay, no problem. Let Jack speak, please. That's his host, not yours.
It's not that I'm never wrong. You're just never right.
Oh,
I'm never. I just said I'm never right, and you're always right. Can we move on, or are we gonna be a bitch boy?
Bitch boy, please. We're doing a bitch
Y'all
boy.
so goddamn pretty.
Holy cow! Holy cows! I do.
Agent of Chaos.
Well, it's part of what this world has brought. We're so quick. We want to be right, and we want to be heard, and many times our wanting to be heard and our wanting to be right are driven by the belief that others need to hear us and they need to learn from us. I've been guilty of that myself.
What's the topic today, Jack?
Finding
Mental, emotional, spiritual illness. The same topic it is every day, Jesse.
No,
Directly or indirectly.
well, indirectly, yes, but finding peace with
Something
truth,
right.
with uncertainty, and even with chaos. Finding peace. Because if we're just warring for the sake of war, that's pretty inefficient and it's not really that fun in the long run. But
yeah, I agree, Jack. I agree. That's why Paul, like, first he goes on flow state and tries
Didn't you
to,
just say let's move on, and then now you're going? You really are an insane person, aren't you?
Hold on, let me finish.
Jack, you get a third-party view of what you do sometimes, and it's great. Like, just watch and listen to what he's doing.
Paul, you can take a back seat for one.
where he goes.
Let's move on and not be a bitch boy. And by the way, Paul.
I noticed.
Yeah.
I was real quick to that.
Yeah,
But
we go from flow state to talking about
You need
TML's
some
wife,
lithium,
then
pal.
clothes. TML's wife, then clothes. You won't leave it alone. God of all media won't leave this shit alone.
Why do you
if
keep
you're about
yelling
to
out
weigh-
God of all media? I
if
triggered
you're
you and
about
got
to
you. I
weigh,
proved you're an
won't
idiot.
talk about
Every
people's
time you
family
yell that out, you
and
prove you're
wives
stupid
and
and
what they
triggered.
dress, Paul. I'm not triggered. I'm just letting you
I'm
have it.
sorry that you believed when I said I was a god. You believed it, and now you're like you're tricked out of some value.
I'm not talking
Like
about that. I'm
you
talking
finally
about your
realized,
behavior.
oh, he's actually a man.
Your
He's not actually a
character.
god of all media. He owes me back what I gave him.
Oh
Jack,
my God,
are
I
we
don't even
finding
care.
peace?
I don't even care about the money.
Come on.
You're bringing the money up. I don't care about the money.
What do you want
I have-
from me? This has gone on for
Stop
weeks and
talking about
months.
people's wives.
No,
Stop
I'm not
talking
going to
about
do a
people's
different
wives
broadcast
and how
because
they
you want me
dress
to.
and how they
Go
do
get a
everything.
life. Turn off my broadcast and stop listening to me, you fucking loser.
Fucking
Yeah,
alcoholic.
that's why TW today had a fucking 45-minute about me.
Why
Thanks,
were
yeah,
you
you're not
watching and listening to me in OTW just so you could
Don't
complain
worry
about it later?
what I do.
Are you that retarded?
Don't worry about what
13.
I do. Just
13.
stop talking about people and
Wait
the
a
drama.
second. Do you hear this
Please.
logic? You're following me around listening to my broadcast telling me not to worry about what you're doing
Because I'm
while you're
gonna
worrying about what
expose
I'm
you. That's
doing
why.
and commenting on it here now.
I'm gonna-
Yeah, really.
I'm
Why
gonna
didn't you come up
expose
on
you,
my
Paul, and I'll do it all
broadcast,
you
fuck
do.
not, and talk to me? Why are you wasting Jack's time and airways arguing with me? Are you this retarded? I just did a 4-hour broadcast you didn't show, and I'm sure you listened to it, you stalker creep.
Fuck. Unslave, shut up for a second. Jack, how's your time doing?
I'm feeling good. And
Yeah.
Paul,
Cheers,
here,
brother.
hold on, please. I interrupted. Tarek, I don't mean any disrespect, but what Paul is saying is true. You did get triggered. And I'm not saying you're wrong either. Because Paul, Tarek is offering you feedback that
That I never asked for, and he continues to give everywhere he's given the opportunity and won't stop giving.
but why? Why do you think he is?
Because he's insane and emotional, like a broken bitch.
But what do you think? Do you think it's wounding, or do you think it's care that's pushing it, driving it?
I think it's an obsession and fixation that's pushing him. The same thing that pushes him to be on 5 panels a day, not make a living, and we don't know how he gets gift cards and whatever else to transfer funds. So I suspect there's something else going on as well.
What's up, Unslaved? It's been a minute.
And you better not get me fucking tied up, sending me shit and then double backing and backbiting on me if you're doing gift card, credit card scams.
I'd find that I don't get that air from him. I mean, Tarek presents as pretty. He cares about what is authentic and what is truthful.
He cares about how he's seen in public.
He does part of that to some degree. Jason, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna light up another cigarette. Unslaved. It's been a minute since I've seen him.
Okay, so you keep interrupting?
Yeah.
At least he's honest.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Yeah, I didn't even find him myself. It was Joe Cool's friend.
What's that?
Fuck Joe Cool. Piece of shit.
Why do you think your opinion?
Sorry, finding peace.
Well, I'm trying, and it's quite. This is life happening moment by moment, and you never do know what it's going to bring. But it amazes me how many people don't actually think about what they offer. You get it, Paul.
Well, that's the thing. You're giving them too much credit. A lot of these people are not capable of the thing you call thinking.
They are. They've just either not. They've not figured it out. Like they've not realized how it happens or
how it works. They've not figured out the function of thinking. Right.
Okay. I got one quick question. I'm stupid as fuck. Who is they?
You.
That's you.
Who else is they? You keep
that
saying
is you.
They. Tell me who they is.
That's you.
Well, Jason.
Yes, I'm listening.
Jack, I've always wanted to do the that's you thing with you instead of you do it to me. I've always wanted to do it to someone else with you. So let's do it right now. Come on.
That's you.
Yeah, that's him.
There was something. Damn it! There was something I was going to offer back.
Paul, did you get into the edibles?
What do you mean, get into them? I've never gotten out of them.
Seem very happy now.
Well, today was a great day. The source of completion, accomplishment, a year's worth of stewardship and fellowship has come to fruition in some sense. So it's a joyous occasion today. Pause for celebration.
And it didn't get in your way today.
You know, it is nice, Paul. I like seeing you in good, better spirits. You're a blast to be around when you're in a good mood. But holy cows, man!
I agree.
When people want to battle, you're ready to battle.
Yes.
And
no, I agree, Paul. I agree, Jack. Paul had a really good show broadcast today. It wasn't about drama. He talked about a lot of good stuff. It was really good. That's the Paul that I used to listen to. But
why are you still watching it? I don't want you watching. I see. This is the thing. How do I stop him from watching my broadcast? Do I have to contact Comcast or YouTube? I don't even want him to be able to have access to watch me. That's the thing.
I don't think you can.
I don't want him watching me and knowing what I'm doing, Jack. It's scaring me. It's getting creepy. How do I have to call local PD or something? How do I stop this? Because I asked him to go away. He won't leave.
Well,
that's not creating resolution.
I'll call Officer Snaps. He'll do something about it.
Officer Snaps. Holy cows. That's another agent for sure. Sometimes we gotta pray. Help us find an answer. Why is this being here? What am I supposed to do with this? Sometimes I don't know.
I got a Haitian woman who says if I bring a chicken over there, she can pray to something and get this guy gone. You think I should go forward with it, Jack?
Ooh, be careful with that. Taking chickens and taking people out. I don't know, man. There's people.
Read reviews first. Read reviews.
See, Hank's a black gay witch. Snafu told me that, so I know it's true.
Gotta be.
He knows all about that thing.
Right? Well, of course.
That's
With that
damn right.
label. What was it? Black gay witch? You've got to know a little bit of everything about everything, right?
Yeah, and like, why does he have to bring in the black part? Like, gay witch isn't enough. Why does black have to be brought in as a pejorative term?
brings an extra little credibility.
Oh,
to
maybe
it.
he means black for black magic.
Maybe.
He never clarified.
Maybe.
So then he
Welcome.
should say gay black witch.
That's why we need to do this one-on-one with him so we can get to everything clarified.
Here.
I think my microphone's bad.
No, I got
Tarek said, sorry, he had to go. His phone is on 1% and his testosterone's on 3%. Very low T levels. Very emotional.
I think the volume is back up a little bit. Yeah. Well, Tarek, yeah. He's another character that's kind of a mystery, a lot of questions, but I don't want to jump to conclusions about some of these people. I don't want to believe that they're paid agents and, in on some brilliant scheme to oppress us or to keep us from success. I think these are just confused people, man. I mean,
I agree. Yeah, like just being a loser failure with no discernment is enough to hold somebody back. They don't have to be official agents.
Right. What's that, Hank? Hank?
Yeah, Jack, you, Paul, me, Machine, Jesse were supposed to be agents because we all broadcast, so we must be the agents.
Well, Tarek's apparently not just comparing penis sizes, but now he's bringing it down. Holy shit, dude. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Comparing testosterone count. Tarek, you got it.
Hey, Jack.
No, that's not your testosterone count. That's your T cell count. I think you have HIV. 780 is pretty high.
Whatever. Yeah, I already know my testosterone level, so check yours.
Oh,
but Jack, Hank, could you shut up for 1 second? 1 second, let me talk to Jack.
How dare you silence black gay voices, you scum?
I love Hank, but sometimes he won't let me speak. And yesterday I had a rant, and his fucking entourage won't let me speak, so I ain't gonna go through all that. Jack,
He thinks you're annoying also. The retarded black gay witch thinks you're annoying.
Let me speak
No
to
offense,
Jack.
Hank.
I'm not speaking to you, sir. I'm speaking to Jack. Jack, with all due respect, with this man sitting next to you, he made indirect threats to Flo 3 days ago, okay? And they were pretty much direct. And TML, he hasn't stopped talking about his wife, and he hasn't stopped talking about a lot of bullshit now. His fucking thing, it's nonstop. It's non-fucking stop. That's why I'm telling you, lady, I've been upset with this bullshit, and I'm attacking him this way because this gotta stop.
Well, you can go fuck yourself because I'm working with Jack now, and we're going to work with Putin, and he's going to hire the Kremlin to kidnap Abby and bring her home whether she likes it or not. And then TML will be happy.
I know. Deflect. And
I'm trying to help.
Yeah, don't pay $1,000 to have somebody visit somebody that's smoking menthol in Denver. That's a good way.
Smoking menthol? What?
Really good guys.
Tarek.
Yeah.
Well, I speak Slovakian, so I can actually understand Russian, so I can help.
Hey, Jesse, do you speak Slavian? Try to communicate with this Tarek freak.
Yeah, I know. Good joke. Everybody clap for fucking Paul. Here we go. Woo!
That's the thing. You're the joke. I'm just commenting on it.
No problem. I'm the joke. Go ahead, Jack.
Both of you are a little bit funny. You're both characters, and you're both who you are.
Yes.
But Tarek, please don't exaggerate, right? There's enough things that can be confronted. We don't need to exaggerate. And
yeah, we could talk about it as men.
While Paul talks critically,
Can you get another man in the room?
also talks positively too. And
I can be in the room. I'll chaperone.
okay.
Are we getting to peace through truth here?
I'm
There's
not
no peace right now.
That's the thing. Tarek's not going to get
Maybe.
peace unless someone goes through to his G spot, his male G spot.
No, unless you apologize for your bullshit that you've been saying.
You
That's
can't
all.
get to peace through normal means with men like
Yeah, no
this.
problem.
And I use the
When you
word men
apologize
loose.
as a man, when
I don't owe
apologize
you an
like a man-
apology because I haven't done anything wrong. Unless you can illuminate and elucidate where I've done wrong, caused you a loss, injury, or harm, or owe you a debt and haven't paid. Or you
No,
can
I
even,
didn't.
I'll throw one extra on the pile for you. Show where I've been lying.
Oh God, it's Jack's show. I ain't
Right.
gonna
You
go
don't
into
have
details.
anything. You don't have anything. It's
What do you mean?
obvious
I can
just
go
by the
amend
tone
it.
of what you just
I
said
can
and
go
did.
amend it.
You're in your feelers. It's an appeal to emotion, and I'm not dealing with it. Go
I'll
away.
Yield. I'll yield, Jack.
Go
I'll
get
yield.
reconciliation
Got it.
on your own with Jeebus. Stop harassing me. I'm not giving you
Yeah.
anything. I'm not apologizing to you, and I'm not giving you anything. So there you
Don't
go.
worry, I don't want anything from you.
Here's your
Thank you.
closure
I
once
appreciate it,
again,
Paul.
and you won't accept it, and you'll continue bitching like a hoe.
Hey,
There we go. I said I yield.
Tarek.
I keep talking. Let Jack talk.
thank you, Tarek. I encourage you, please allow this to go for today.
Okay.
Okay, I will.
Right. There's always tomorrow to cry like a bitch again.
Well,
And you'll take that
Oh, don't worry
opportunity, I'm
about
sure.
it, Paul.
of course.
This ain't gonna go away. I promise you.
Oh, I know it's not because you're a beta male. You don't have to tell me what I know.
It's not a beta man. I'm gonna expose you, and I'll show you how.
You can't expose me when I haven't done anything, so we're waiting.
Well, I know you're
We've
lying.
heard this
Don't
from
worry, I'll
Illuma
expose you.
Tranny. We've heard this from
I
Illuma
will
Tranny and a
expose
host of
you. I'm
others.
not
It's never going to
Illuma Tranny.
happen because I'm not lying. You can't
I'm
expose
not
someone who's not
Illuma Tranny.
hiding and not lying.
Don't worry about it. Just be
Yeah,
patient. You'll
right.
see it through.
More bullshit, false strength,
Really.
egoic
He
nonsense.
He did it himself. Just
Okay.
listen to him.
I yield.
Okay.
He tells us everything he's going to do. There's really nothing else to say.
You talk to me, Hank?
No.
I haven't said anything what I'm gonna do. I just I'm gonna expose him. That's all for all the lies. that
Right,
he's saying.
just like all the others in your attempt to expose me, you've done nothing but expose your bitch assness. So great job.
Don't worry, it takes time, Paul. I'll expose you.
I know. Another year and a half like Illuma Tranny, you'll have the goods on me, right?
Don't worry.
Everyone will
I'm not
finally
gonna
see it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'm not.
Just another
Tommy.
tard in his feelers.
3 hours here each and every day. There's no surprise.
Just another guy who sucked my dick before they started talking shit.
There we go. Don't you love how these people always talk about dick and
I'm
shit?
sorry,
It's
Jack.
It's hilarious. Go ahead, Jack.
Hold on for just a moment. Can we actually, let's just change for a moment.
And I'll probably do the same
Please.
thing later. But
Hank,
whatever.
hold on just a moment. Quantum Epic, welcome.
Jack, hello. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm feeling blessed.
It's been a while.
Butthole Winker.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's up, Holmes?
yeah. Oh boy.
Anyone's thoughts on how we find peace? Finding peace in the truth with all the uncertainty, with all the chaos. Ideas?
I think Paul would know best, so we should go to him.
Yeah, I'll go.
For peace, Paul knows best?
Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Fascinating.
Oh well. I took a guess. I don't know.
Well, if you ask Sun Tzu, all the ones who are the most adept at doing controversy are always the most adept at attaining peace.
There you
So
go.
if you're a master at war, you're probably a master of peace.
See?
Yeah, he's at peace. That's why he has me blocked from 2 channels. Yeah, he's at peace.
That's how I got my peace, by cutting out broken bitch ass hoes like you out of my life. That's
Yeah,
part of my
exactly.
process.
That's annoying.
I already know why.
Money
you
or no
blocked me.
money, I cut you right out of my life, and that's why my broadcast and chat has been so peaceful lately. Haven't you noticed?
Oh yeah, it's been peaceful. Yeah,
It's been absent of parasitic, needy people.
And with respect, I'm going to clean it up a little bit here too. Thank you, Tarek.
Paul, Mr. Talcott, I don't mean to, this is totally honest. I find peace after I rub one out. I'm just being honest. It's peaceful, blissful. Sorry, I'm just being honest. Woo!
Yes,
Nice, dude.
most of us do.
Yeah, he was pretty serious, that one. He was being serious.
Yes, people are fascinating. Fascinating.
I was thinking grotesque.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. Grotesque is fascinating sometimes. And,
I guess it is.
you know, I just go with it. Somehow, some way, though, Paul, we are responsible for creating this. This group is attracted to our light, our message, our energy. We are creating these experiences. Paul, I want to change these experiences.
You're going to meet up.
Jack, you said that with a tone that was concerning.
Well,
Paul, I want to change these experiences. He's like, I don't like the chicks and colors. Give me another hit, a different one this time.
Oh, dude.
You're having a bad trip over there? Focus on the yellow square up in the corner, Jack.
I see it. I was feeling that wall for a little moment there with the patterns of chaos. And no offense, Tarek, but from you, the patterns of chaos. It's like, holy cows, how do we stop? You feel that? Right there, that pause, that silence.
That comfortable silence, or was that uncomfortable? It was comfortable for me.
It is so peaceful.
Really uncomfortable for me. Tarek's texting me. My phone's on vibrate, and it's in my back pocket. I got to put it on silent mode from now on. But I'd have been right there with you. I swear.
Move it to your front pocket, Paul.
Oh my!
No, then I might get excited. It'll get really weird.
It feels better.
Have I?
Hey, I don't know.
I wish
mind is always thinking. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
I wish I had an answer for you, Jack, about the peace, but I mean, all we can do is work on ourselves, right? I mean, I'm not trying to, because everyone else is just doing their thing, and I think it's kind of hard to change people, so I don't know.
I think we just figured it all out. The mystery to the human experience, right there. That was the conclusion.
I know what to do.
We can only work on ourselves or masturbate, as Mr. Butthole Winker so eloquently stated earlier. And that's
Very
pretty much my whole journey for the last 34 years. Working on myself and or masturbating. Not necessarily in that order.
Well, hey, whatever works for you. Now we just need to go meet up with Putin.
I'm going to promote Tarek back to officer again. You're Officer Tarek now again. That should make you happy.
What does that promotion entail? He just got timed out in the chat.
He's recommissioned. Now he can be in the internet police again.
Well,
you can catch Paul somehow.
I don't understand what is happening here. Sincerely.
The machine lies. What do you think about finding peace, through truth when one or both sides don't want that peace?
Well, I was actually came up here to go in a different direction with the topic altogether, and I think I was going to go in the direction of navigating through the chaos because I saw that shit up there too. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll go in the chaos direction, because I was going to talk about life is bounded, knowledge is unbounded, and you have to use, what is there to understand what is not there, but you can only, usefulness ultimately comes from what is not there, so I was going to talk about nature, polycentricity and biodiversity and harnessing power from nature, because nature is what represents chaos, but it's infinitely, unbounded. It has, untold value in it, so about chaos coming from, essentially I was going to use the parable of Shang Tzu and the butcher. But yeah, maybe I'll get to that later. You guys seem like you're on a interesting conversation here. Bless you guys.
Dude,
Is
deep
chaos,
thoughts.
is
Go ahead.
chaos inevitable?
Well, I think that chaos is
It's
the
just around us. It's just inherent in the system.
well, I think it's the inherent sense of contextualization that is there. What it means by knowledge is unbounded. Knowledge is infinite. Hence chaos. Because infinity has no beginning or end. Essentially. So when you look at it, and there's infinite divisions. If you look at one piece, if you analyze anything, there's infinite divisions within it. So analysis breeds infinity, in my opinion.
So could
I
one
talked about
person
this before on Jack's show, but yeah, talking about
It would seem to me chaos doesn't exist at all. Chaos is a perspective of folks who can't perceive the order in which that seems chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So would one person's chaos be another person's peace?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go ask Klaus Schwab.
Right. That's true. It is true.
Well, chaos is another word for falsehood or untruth, and yes, untruth is non-existence. But there is lies, and those lies have to be based on truth. Henceforth, because so therefore chaos. Chaos is truth and falsehood mixed.
I like that.
It's from my perspective, order. Chaos is the base, and you separate order from disorder, and those are just based on perspective. Order and disorder is based on perspective and your opinions and your senses.
Yes, and all of those change moment by moment. And so if we can allow ourselves to change our senses and our awareness and who we become, the world has created all these rules, right? The material world, the material form, it's built on the logic and the physical hard structures. In the thought process, it's the logic and the material that go together, it seems. But within the material, like Machine Lai said, we can get caught up and lost in all of the details, all of the analysis. There's more than just the details, more than just the strict, rigid rules. There is also the expression of boundless, of infinite, of, well, borderless, perhaps. No rules. That's kind of what love, I think that's what love is. And in the, our limited vocabulary, I think love is the power, the essence, the force of creation. Love is the power of God. And it's through love, beyond the words, that the real comes into form and is realized. And then through the language, through the words, that's where we learn the meanings. I don't know. Now I feel like I'm just going on. Thoughts? We do have another guest. I am kind of feeling like maybe wrapping up pretty soon. But welcome, Angeline. Cute hoodie.
Is that a Snafu Snaps costume?
That's fine. That's fine because I don't want my stream to be 15 hours long.
All right.
If you want to wrap up, I just thought I'd jump on and say hi, but I'm a little late, so it's all good.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining.
I wonder why Jesse's always smiling ear to ear. She's got a freaky scene going on over there, Talcott. You see her? She's one of those furries.
It's a onesie because it's cold.
It looks cute and adorable. Yes.
Very cute.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know, life is fun. When we can allow ourselves to be cute and cuddly, you know, there's something valuable in that.
You have to have fun. That's like, what is life without having fun?
No, Hank, you can't touch her.
All right.
What are your thoughts, Angelina, about everything that was kind of being discussed here?
How do you know that? You didn't ask yet.
There was a lot discussed, so it'd be easier if that was more narrowed down, unless Jack wants to wrap up, which is fine also. So
Either way, any thoughts on finding peace with uncertainty or chaos, or finding peace with the truth, a truth we're not comfortable with?
well, the best truth sets us free. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but finding peace in the uncertain, I don't know if you can. I think you just gotta show yourself, keep moving through it, and until you show yourself the other side. Gotta trust something bigger than yourself and your fears. I mean, it showed up for us this long. That's why we're all alive. So
That's
might as
it.
well keep going, right?
Similar question. What's your advice for someone who can't find a onesie in 5X?
You so
I
won.
know. Do more research.
All right, I'll look into that.
You know what? No lie. I went out to the bars within the last few years. I think it was before the virus stuff. But
You went in a onesie?
no, there's a bunch of adults. Yeah, people are going to the bars in onesies. And I was like, what in the frick is going on with this world? That was also in
I
my...
saw this group of people wearing onesies downtown, and they were carrying a big sign that said, "We're all onesies." It was the best.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you or I put on a onesie, all of a sudden it becomes creepy. You get what I'm saying, Jack?
Right.
Somehow not as cute as when she does it. So I stay away from it. Not only the 5X thing, because I don't want to catch any more charges.
It's hard to find the costumes, find the ones to fit. Oh my goodness. All right. I feel like wrapping up. I think this has been a good dose for those who may tune in. Thoughts in parting from anyone?
Good conversation. Thanks for having me up. I'll be on an interview later in a couple hours, and y'all have a great night.
Blessings. Thank you, Jesse. Peace.
Love you.
I trust that was for Jesse, but we love you too, Angeline.
I love all of you too.
All right. Anything else from you?
Nope, I'm good.
Right. Thank you, sister. It's great. Thank you for jumping in. Hank, final words, brother?
Yeah, I'm trying out this streaming thing like Paul asked me to. My panels are just all super nerdy. I talk shop later. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Blessings. Thank you, Hank. Appreciate you joining, brother. Machine Lies or Paul, whichever one you want to go with. Machine Lies?
Well, I wanted to read something, so maybe I'll let Paul go first.
All right, well, I'll take my leave. I'm hungry anyway. I'm going to go eat something, and then I'm going to go fantasize about mounting a koala bear. So I'll see you later, Jack, and Mohammed, peace be upon you, inshallah.
Okay,
Paul,
buddy.
brother. I appreciate you joining today. Sincerely, I had fun. I had fun today. Please, brother, what were you thinking?
Yeah, this is the thing from Shang Tzu. You know, I kind of read it on my show yesterday, but yeah, it says, and I'll kind of skip around. It says, "Life is unbounded. Knowledge." I'm sorry. It says, "Life is bounded. Knowledge is unbounded." And if you guys want a reference, this is from chapter 3 of the Shang Tzu, right? Life is bounded, knowledge is unbounded. Using the bounded to follow the unbounded is dangerous. And if you take that as knowledge, that's really dangerous. If you do good, avoid fame. If you do bad, avoid punishment. Follow the middle line and you can protect yourself, complete your life, raise your family, and finish your years. Then he begins to talk about a butcher that never has to sharpen his blade. You know, and the butcher explains this technique like this. He says, the butcher sheathed his chopper and responded, quote, "What your servant values is the way which goes beyond technique. When I first began cutting up oxen, I did not see anything but oxen. 3 years later, I couldn't see the whole ox. And now I encounter them with the spirit and don't look with my eyes. Sensible knowledge stops and spiritual desires proceed. I rely on the heavenly patterns, strike in the big gaps, and guided by the large fissure, and follow what is inherently so. I never touch a ligament or tendon, much less do any heavy wrenching. A good butcher changes his chopper every year because he chips it. An average butcher changes it every month because he breaks it. There are spaces between those joints, and the edge of the blade has no thickness." Now, this is the key line in mastering peace through chaos, right? He says, if you use what has no thickness to go where there is space, oh, there's plenty of room to play about in. And I'll let you guys chew on that one. You know, he says, that's why after 19 years, the blade of my chopper is still, though fresh from the grindstone. Anyways, you guys have a blessed night. And yeah, thank you for joining us.
Respect. Thank you. Moving that piece which has no thickness into the space. Something like that?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Respect. Thank you, brother. The wisdom you offer, you share with us is truly appreciated. And to all those who joined in, I had fun. I do have fun with Paul Unslaved when he's in a good mood. He seemed to be in decent spirits today. We also had the Machine Lies and, many others. The topic today of finding peace with the truth, finding peace with uncertainty, finding peace with chaos. Those things are important. That's what life is. Life brings us chaos, brings us uncertainty through the chaos. But through the chaos, through the uncertainty, that's where we narrow down through the infinite field of knowledge and information. Through the infiniteness of possibilities, we narrow down what is certain from the chaos, from the uncertainty. And we do that through the pattern recognition. We've got within us all the tools, all of the, I'm trying to remember words accurately from what I've been picking up with Machine Lies. We have within us the technology, the nature and the technology within us for ourselves to grow, to exist, to learn, to overcome, to adapt, to become more. Now, within the adaptive variable part of our being, the natural beingness of a person, we also, as with nature, we have the ability just to kind of settle into things that may not be comfortable, may not be healthy, may not be life-bringing or life-serving. So, brothers and sisters, if you look around your day look at the world through your eyes, through your moments of your day, and find where you find peace. Find where you find some uncertainty. Find where you find some chaos, and bring those into your awareness with the goal with the goal and the understanding, the knowing that there is a peace. There's a peace that's available with you at all times in the here and now. If you listen, like right here. Can you feel the silence? Can you hear the stillness? That stillness and silence within you is the peace that is abound. It's abundant. It is eternal. It is the present. It is the gift. It is the awareness of being. And brothers and sisters, hopefully these ideas will bounce around and make some sense, and hopefully you can find a little more joy in your day. Because with that breath of peace, that's the goal. I mean, that's the next step. With the next step, with the awareness and cognition, the realization of peace in the here and now, that's step one. The next step is finding the good, right? Realizing how special that moment is, how special your perception is, your objective, your your existence, recognizing how special it is for you to be you, as you, with you, for you, from the here and now forward. Thank you again, sincerely, brothers and sisters. I do appreciate all of you who join in, tune in, share your support, and tune in again next time. We'll see what happens in the future. Peace for everyone. Choose love. Thank you again. And live without fear. God bless us all.